Tonight, in a First Coast News exclusive, a former detective is speaking out for the first time as he prepares to sue the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office and the sheriff.
Now, you may recall last year, 3 JSO narcotics detectives were attempting an undercover drug deal when what looked like a real gun was aimed at one of them. Detective Brian Turner fired shots in defense, killing Jerome Allen. A week later, Sheriff Williams announced that all 3 detectives involved were placed on leave without pay, awaiting dismissal. But those charges were dropped 8 months later. One of those detectives says it nearly ruined his life, and he's speaking only to our Shelby Danielsen tonight.
Detective Brian Turner was with 2 other detectives in an undercover car when that fake gun was pointed at his face through his window. It led to a deadly shooting. Well, questions were later raised when evidence like beer cans were later missing from the scene. Eventually, he was faced with tampering with evidence charges.
The 3 detectives removed alcoholic beverages from the car. So let me be clear, that car is a crime scene.
What started out as another day at work for undercover detective Brian Turner ultimately ended his career in law enforcement.
Well, basically, my life has been turned upside down.
We aren't showing Turner's face at his request.
My family was put in jeopardy. My children were put in jeopardy. I actually had to move out of state for the safety of myself and my children.
He was undercover for about a decade in Jacksonville. When those charges were announced last year, his career came to a screeching halt.
If you ask anyone that knows anything about stuff at the sheriff's office, it should have been handled internally.
At issue were beer cans the detectives said were used as props to blend in undercover. But after the shooting, they were thrown away. Later, 3 cans were found, 1 was unopened. The sheriff concluded what they did was illegal. In a letter from Turner's attorney detailing their intent to now sue, they list defamation of character, negligence, false arrest, malicious prosecution, and violation of civil rights.
I've always been a good officer. I've done what I've told. What really blew my mind is they didn't interview the people at the scene or interview me before they made a decision to arrest us.
In August of 2017, the state attorney's office dropped the charges, saying the beer cans were part of the undercover operation, and added each detective fully cooperated with the investigation. But Turner says the damage was already done. He had planned on running for Nassau County Sheriff, and the negative spotlight ended that dream. In a recording from the night of the shooting, he admits he threw the cans away, but he didn't think it was a big deal.
I'd just been involved in something traumatic. Whenever somebody has to fight for their life, you're thinking about your children and your family, and you know, the last thing that's going through your mind is thinking about what somebody's asking you or talking to you.
He hopes the lawsuit will bring light to what he says is the truth.
Being treated the way that I was treated like a criminal when I did nothing wrong, it made me where I never, ever wanted to put on a police uniform again.
He plans to file that lawsuit in early September. JSO says they couldn't comment because it's ongoing litigation. For First Coast News, I'm Shelby Danielsen on your side.